Hi and welcome back. And last session we have done the HTML part. So this is what we have done, a purely HTML part. So at this point of time we will add CSS. So I'm on my VC code editor and you can see that this is a body tag and we have developed this HTML part. And we have a session tag. Underneath the session tag we have a container. So I'm going to hold this session tag and container and try to design something in my CSS. So I'm on a CSS page. First of all, I'm going to go and give a universal connection. Like I'm going to use a star which will affect the total elements in the HTML part. So I'm going to use margin 0 and padding 0, and we will just go for box sizing. I'm going to say border box. Okay, so let's go and see what exactly we can see on the HTML part. So this is my design, and when I say margin 0, this should go to the extreme edges of the screen. So you can see that there is a white gap over here, but it's not going because though we add CSS, we didn't connected the CSS part to my HTML page. So I'm on a HTML page. So right now I'm going to link this link and I'm going to use style.css. Now when I save it, you can see that this is now connected to the extreme corners of the screen. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my CSS, and what I'll do is I'm going to use font family and I'm going to use Poppins, and the name of the family is sans serif, but this is not available on my Windows. So I'm going to fetch this from my Google Fonts. So I'm going to import it through my Google. So what I'll do is on my VC code editor, I'll type F1, okay, and click on Google Fonts. You should install this plugin on your VC code editor, Google Fonts. So click on it and just search Poppins. So I've been installed this, and now when I save it, you can see that this is going to be changing the font. So let's go and save it. Yeah, the font is changed over here. So I'm using Poppins font. Okay, now let's go to session. I'm on a session tag. So session tag is something we have in HTML part, this one. So I'm connecting to this session tag. You can see that this is a session tag. Okay, so I'm going to go and tell my CSS session tag, you should go with position relative, and it's not going to change anything because we just set position relative. But I'm going to say minimum height, I'm going to use 100 VH. VH is nothing but viewport based on the height. So I'm on a Mozilla browser. This is my desktop height, which is from here to here, and this view height will just consider whether you are working with mobiles or tablet. This will consider it's 100 VH. Okay, so I'm going to say background, and I'm going to say background color, and I'm going to use a light yellow color here. Okay, this is the color I'm going to use it. Now you can see that the 100 VH is something which is just by default going to be the complete visualization of what you're saying. But if you scroll it, this is something you can see the complete 100 VH. Now out of this, what I'll do is I'm going to go and say display flex, and I'm going to use something like justify content center. So when I say center, you can see that at this point, this is, you might be assuming that this should be center, but that's not the case. This is the complete elements we have, and this is considering the center part. Now if I don't write center, you can see that it's starting from here. Okay, so I'm going to make it center anyways. So this is going to be my center, and I'll just use align items center, which is going to align my items to center, and I'm going to use some padding over here. So this is padding. I'm going to use 20 pixel. You can see that there will be a distance over here, right? So now that we have controlled the session part, so now that we have done the session part, what we'll do is we'll just go to the session. Inside session we have a container. So I'm going to grab this container which is inside the session tag. So I'll be on my CSS and I'm going to say session and dot container, and within this container I'm going to add some styles. So I'm going to say position relative, and then what we'll do is we'll just consider the width I'm going to say 800 pixel, and the height that I'm going to use is 500 pixel. Okay, and I'm going to add some background color. Now before we add some background color, maybe I'll just comment this one so that you can understand it. The width is 800 and height is 500. So if you can see that here, this is something you're not able to see this because it's just a yellow color, but the moment I say this is white, this is going to be the width 800, height 500. Okay, so I've done that, and what we'll do is we'll just go for box shadow, and we'll just go for 0. I'm just adding shadow to the container. Okay, and just 50 pixel, but this is like red, green, blue, which is 0, 0, 0, which turns black. And I'm going to use some opacity 0.5, which is going to be something a kind of shadowish, like here you can see the shadow here. Okay, so we have developed the container of the box and its layout. Now what we'll do is we'll bring all of these elements on this particular container. So I'll do that on a next video. Until then, bye bye.